Just minutes ago, President Obama approved a disaster declaration for West Virginia. 9 counties are dealing with a chemical spill. It contaminated the water supply. Up to 300,000 people are being told not to touch the tap water.
Water in West Virginia is still unusable.
Now it's utter chaos.
Eyes burning.
It's a zoo in here, isn't it?
It's a zoo.
If I can't take a shower, it's going to be ugly.
Local tap water not safe for drinking, cooking, bathing, or even washing dishes.
Boiling water, not be able to drink it, but not even put it on your body. It's outrageous.
They brought every kind of container they could find, jugs, bins, and bottles to fill up, as the people of Charleston, West Virginia learn just how precious clean water is.
Authorities say 7,500 gallons of a toxic chemical used to process coal leaked into the Elk River on Thursday from Freedom Industries, a company just upstream from a water treatment plant.
The chemical flowed into the Elk River, contaminating West Virginia's water supply. It continued rushing toward the Ohio River, traveling more than 250 miles to Cincinnati. Tonight, it's closing in on Louisville, Kentucky.
The source of the problem that's closed restaurants and schools is 4-methylcyclohexane methanol, a chemical that's used in coal processing. It's an oily substance that some say smells like licorice.
I was over at the Capitol and I remember coming back and smelling something in the air but not really thinking anything of it. I think that, at that point no one had any clue.
This event started on Twitter with Governor Earl Ray Tomlin's initial tweet a little after 5:30 that day. And it became a Twitter event. It became a social media event. And I think it's one of the best examples I've seen of the way social media very quickly engages large numbers of people and can give quick snippets of information, updates to a continuing story in a very effective way.
Now, what was surprising to me, and I think surprising to a lot of people, was how susceptible that water source was. So the spill occurs on the Elk River. The Elk River is a water source for that area because it's so clean, right? And it is surrounded by a lot of dirty water. I mean, the cost of treating the Kanawha River for drinking water is exorbitant. I mean, it's so dirty you can't afford to. But the Elk River is a very clean river, one of the cleanest in the East, actually. And so you see how dependent then we have become as a state on our few really clean, productive water sources like the Elk River.
In short, it was a mess. It was a mess. I was lucky. I had water. But that meant I was sort of ground zero for people who needed showers, who needed to fill up water bottles, for people who just kind of wanted a place where they could get away from the no water situation wherever they were and feel a sense of normalcy for a little bit.
Of course, having reported this and living in Charleston, we were just as affected as anyone else. So the first 3 days after the spill, people were coming to work unshowered, basically cleaning up as best you could with like baby wipes or some sort of whatever towels you had laying around that you could clean yourself with. Bottled water, bar of soap, and a washcloth was about the best you could do.
The economic value of water spread across so many different facets of life that it almost gets, pardon the pun, but it gets diluted. Its real value gets diluted because you've got a tourism sector, you've got a quality of life sector. People's willingness to pay for clean water is huge. You've got a recreational sector, you've got the power industry sector. And then of course you have the drinking water sector, and all of these things draw on the value of water, but there's no single thing to point to.
I was actually at work back in the office whenever that all clear happened. My roommate at the time flushed the pipes, and I remember coming home and getting ready to take the first shower, and that smell was everywhere. And they told us that it would be there, but I think that everyone, at least myself, was a little reluctant. It was a matter of necessity, though. It had been days, and it's not like I could jump in the car and just drive away out of town to go find some water to use.
I think people need to advocate for their community and for safety in their community, no matter what it is. But when it comes to something as essential as water, know what's going into the water. Know how your water is processed. Understand what potential hazards there are along the waterways which feed your particular system. People didn't know. And they couldn't or didn't feel like they could trust those in positions of authority to tell them accurately what those things were.
Now, moving into the future, there is no question that the value of water will only go up. And that's true everywhere. So everywhere the value of water will continue to go up as we continue to pollute waterways and as we continue to have increased demand for that water.